In this video, I'll be guiding you through an introduction to creating students in StepsWeb. We'll start by logging into StepsWeb as an educator and then creating a student account. In the next video, we'll show you what the student sees when they first log in. But for now, let's start by getting you logged in. I'm now on the StepsWeb.com homepage. From here, we'll go ahead and click on the login button. Now when you're on this page, you might see that the username and password automatically appears in the boxes. This will be because your computer or device is set to automatically remember logins and passwords. You might want to switch that function off for security reasons, particularly if this computer or device is being used by several people for StepsWeb. I'll go ahead now and enter my username and password and then click the login button. I can now see my main educator functions. I've got full access, so all these buttons are functional. In saying that, some educators may not be able to manage other educator accounts, use the store, or create new students. It depends on the roles that you were assigned when you created or joined the account. For this section, we'll concentrate on the basics you need to know to create a new student. Remember that we're looking at an educator login at the moment, so when you're logged in as an educator, you won't be able to see what a student sees when they log in, but we'll show you how to do that bit in the next video. To get started, I'll go ahead and click on Manage Students and show you the main functions here. On the left, you'll see a list of all the students in your school or institution. In future videos, we'll show you how to look at records and edit existing students, but for now, we'll concentrate on creating a new student. To start the process, we'll click on Add Student. The beginning of this form is fairly self-explanatory. We'll enter the student's first name and surname. Then, you're asked for the student's date of birth, but this is not compulsory and it can be added later. However, we'd recommend adding a date of birth if possible. It just gives you some extra information when the student has done some of the diagnostic testing. Now, we'll create the login details. First is the username. Now choose a username which your learner is likely to remember, and the program will tell you if it's acceptable. Obviously, usernames have to be unique, so if you're running out of inspiration, you can always click Suggest for some ideas. Now, you can add an email address too, but that's optional. We'd suggest that for security reasons, you enter a unique password for each user. Now, you'll be able to see your students' passwords, so you don't need to make a separate note of them. So now you've added the essential information for your student, and you'll see that there are additional sections for login tests, learning settings, and features. Now we're not going to show you every feature at this stage, as you'll learn more about these functions later. However, you will see that each one has an About button, which gives you more information. For now, we're going to concentrate on showing you a couple of key features you'll need to know about in the early stages. These here are the tests your learner can take when they first log into StepsWeb. Now, it's important to understand more about these tests and how they can be used, but we don't want to go into too much detail in this video, so I'll just give you a quick overview. You'll find much more detailed information in the support site articles and the relevant course section. You'll see that the spelling test is set as a default. Now, this is the test which analyses your learner's literacy level and puts them on the right level of the structured literacy course. For most students, we'd suggest that you just leave this one enabled, which will mean that the student does the test when they first log in. It's a good idea to just warn them that they'll start by doing a quick test. Now, the spelling test is a normed, standardized test, which will give you a spelling age. When your student retakes the test, you will get a new spelling age, but the test will not automatically adjust the learner's position. You can set the test again to check progress, but as with any standardized test, this should not be done more often than once in every 6-month period. The visual recognition test will indicate whether your learner is using the right part of the brain for reading fluency. Again, there's much more detailed information about this on the support site and in further videos, but we'll leave that deselected for now. We'll shrink that section away. And now we'll look at the learning settings. There's only one which we'll mention at this stage, and that is forced progression. Now that's the setting which locks a student into the right part of the course. Now we'd advise leaving this on for most students. You'll see what this looks like when we log in as a student shortly, but for now we can go ahead and create our student. Just click the Create button. This will then take us back to the Manage Students page, and you can now see the student you just created. To add another student, simply click on the Add Student button and go through the same process. Now this box at the bottom shows you how many student licenses you have on your account and how many you're currently using. So that completes the Create Student video. Next, we'll show you what the student will see when they first log in. If you're new to StepsWeb, we'd suggest that it's a good idea to create a student login for yourself. That way you can see and try out a few of the activities and tests, and you can always delete that student login later.